Hey everybody, welcome back for the 175th time to the Guardian Project podcast. I'm your host, Andy and Mike. Did you hear about the concert at the local cemetery? I would have invited you to come with me, but it was oversold.
Oh, that's pretty good. Oversold cemetery.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you were going to say it was underground or something like that.
I was very proud of that one.
That was good. I like that a lot.
Would you go to a concert at a cemetery?
Heck
though?
yeah. That sounds
I
really
feel like
metal.
it would be super disrespectful, but I would.
Sure.
Well, you only stand in the drive, the part where you could drive though.
Probably going to be standing on some graves, not going to lie. It's a concert. I mean, you're going to start mosh pitting and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's that kind of a concert. Okay.
Yeah, if it's at a
It's
graveyard,
a classical music concert.
That would be interesting. A midnight classical rave at the funeral.
At the local cemetery.
And I'm your other host, Mike, and I like my commander decks like I like my candy. In abundance, in an extreme variety, and salty.
Please listen carefully.
And this is the podcast about Commander.
Our favorite Magic the Gathering format. And today it is our third annual episode where we're talking Halloween candy. So we're going to compare some candy to some commanders later on. And if you've been listening to us for a few years, you're in for quite a treat.
Yeah, I can't believe we're on our third annual already for this.
It's been a long time.
This was funny because the original candy commander comparison was just because we're like, what could we do for Halloween that's different than what everybody else is doing?
Mm-hmm.
It was just such a hit because we spoke so badly of Payday that I was on a stream just a couple weeks ago and someone was like, I know your episode's coming up, but are you gonna, rag on Payday again? And I said, that's kind of our thing now. Though. Yeah. It's kind of our thing.
We don't actually talk about Magic the Gathering anymore. We just talk about how bad we hate Payday.
Welcome back to our podcast where we rag on Paydays. So we talked a couple of weeks ago about the starter commander decks that would be coming out for this holiday season. Those full deck lists have been revealed. We will have those in the show notes. But as a reminder, these are for new commander players. The themes were blue-white flyers, blue-black graveyard, red-black chaos, red-green dragons, and then green-white tokens. And when we originally read the summary, it said they would include some cards that are kind of like some staples. Mm-hmm. And looking at the deck list, these actually look pretty good. I will say the blue-white flyers deck, I have the new Candies, is it Sky Warden? Mm-hmm. And I would say this deck's probably actually better because mine has an art theme of birds flying south. So I think this one's actually better, but these decks include signets. They've got the Azori signet. They have Arcane signet, some diamonds. A Thought Vessel is in the Flyers deck. I think there's some talismans in some of these. I think these are solid, and I would 100% buy these for someone I was trying to introduce.
I did just notice the first reprinting of the card Angler Turtle, the mono blue creatures your opponents control attack each combat if able with hexproof. It was a subject of one of our episodes many times ago.
It was, and we had one of our listeners send me one of these because it works really well in my Rhoda and Timon deck, which is a tap down deck. So I think these are great, and if you're looking for something to buy for a friend or somebody this holiday season, these are coming out, and I think they'll be a great purchase. Plus, they're all new, really great artworks for these commanders. So even if you just want to buy it because you play one of these commanders for the new artwork, you could, I'm sure, pick up singles at some point.
Yeah, and they're in foil etch, the commanders as well. So
and I love etched foils.
They're
really usually cool. Not curled at all,
right?
In any of the sets they come out in.
And if you have one of those really awkward friend groups for commander where you have 5 people, you found your product. There's 5 decks.
5 decks.
5 decks. So you could play Penta Commander, 5-person Commander. I don't know if there's a name for it or not.
5-person precons.
5-person precons.
It'll be a long game, but it'll be fun.
Probably. Maybe you could play some Boss Monster or something. Who knows? Okay, there is also, we have a 30th anniversary countdown secret lair that is going to go up for sale in just a few days. So if you are looking for like a countdown to Christmas calendar or a countdown to the holidays calendar or something like that, this is giving you, was it 28 packs, 30 packs?
No, 30. Yeah.
30
so this is, we know that there's the countdown, like advent calendars is like 25 days, but you can just make it for all of December.
Yeah. Countdown to the end of the year.
Countdown to the end of the year. I mean, there's 31 days but just skip one day, or
Buy an
yourself
extra
an
pack.
extra pack.
Yeah, that's what
I
you
like
do.
that option more. But this one, this product is cool. It gives really it's 30 years of Magic through the eyes of Secret Lairs. So it's 30 individually wrapped cards. If you've seen it, there's a few cards that were already previewed, so we knew some value was there. Necropotence was there. Is it Mox Opal? I believe Mox Opal's in here, but one of the Moxes is.
One of the Moxes. I don't remember which one.
And I mean, so the value is there. Now every card has been previewed. If you want to go check those out, you can head over to Secret Lair, their website, and you can look at these. And any card that you open in these packs does have a 30% chance to get it opened, or I guess to open it in foil.
Nice.
If you were to get this, and I think I want to get this, it's just fun. And I don't have all these cards anyway. I did look through them because I wanted to know what I was purchasing.
For sure.
That's just me,
Sure.
So some people want to be surprised. I wanted to know how much I was going to open that I didn't have or would want different arts of.
Right.
And I would say there are some cards in there that I was like, it's not really a commander card, which is fine.
Sure.
Not everything is for commander.
For sure.
But would you open these all at once, or would you do once a day?
There aren't.
Now that you know what they are, because I assume you also look through all of them.
Yeah. So now that I know what they are, honestly, there's only a couple that I really would want, and I would only open those ones. I'd keep the rest of them sealed and maybe try to resell them later on.
Oh, that's possible.
But I could resell them
that's a thing.
I could resell them as a 30% chance that this one's going to be foil or something like that if it's still in the package, which maybe that increases the price a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But it's like I think it's $165.
165 euros. That's what I'm looking at right now.
It is
165 euros.
also what I'm looking at.
I think the price is pretty similar to USD right now, though, so it's probably pretty close to that. Maybe 170.
Yeah. So these are the release dates, November 14th. You can pre-order this at the beginning of November. I believe these go on pre-order just next week. I think it's like November 4th is one of them. November 7th is another one of them. But these are going to arrive at your house on time for you to open them in December. So this is like the quickest Secret Lair of them all. And that's not the only Secret Lair we have. Secret Lair Extra Life 2022 is here. Just like the Secret Lair from last year, these are artworks that were drawn by kids. And they had a professional artist that has worked with Magic before do their own rendition of those cards. There is a Lathless Dragon Queen, Birds of Paradise, and a Sliver Legion, and they are all really adorable.
Yeah.
I do like the flavored text on Sliver Legion so much. It says, an alien from another world. At first glance, it looks funny, maybe scary, also maybe ugly, but mostly funny. It's so cute. So if you are interested in this Secret Lair, it is going up for pre-order on November 4th through November 7th. So it's a very short window.
Yep.
But there's also other products you can purchase, like Ultra Pro Playmats, pins, and t-shirts. You can go to extralifeshop.com. They've got a really cool green t-shirt that says Extra Life 2022, and it has a Johnny completion. I actually think that they talked about that in the stream.
Yeah.
When they were talking about this, they're like, Johnny's here, but not a Phyrexian Johnny. and you can get these like sleeves and stuff on Arena. So if you're interested in those, which I loved the one last year, which gave us Muldrifter, a Craterhoof Behemoth, and I can't remember the last card, but I think it's because I played the Craterhoof.
A Fieldegriff. Or no, that was the bonus card.
Yes, Feldegriff was the. I can't remember what the other card was.
I can't either.
But they were really fun, and they're always fun to see that one.
Very much
the
so.
Sloopy little tentacly Craterhoof come out. But before we continue, we have some folks we need to thank. Thank you so much to everybody who listens to our show every single week. We really appreciate you, and especially to all of our patrons. Thank you for being here and for all of your support. We will have more content for you. Actually, starting this week, the first episode of Second Main will be on Patreon this week, so check that out. We will actually have our live reaction to the candy that we're going to be talking about this week over on Second Main. So check that out. And if you would like to get that content or future episodes of Second Main, you can head over to patreon.com/guardianprojectpod and donate for any dollar amount.
And if you're looking for another way or an additional way to support the podcast, whatever you are listening or enjoying the podcast on now, if you could like, comment, subscribe, follow, anything like that, leave some comments. We'd really appreciate it. And if you want to find us online anywhere else, you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. You can find us by Googling Guardian Project Podcast, and you can
Google us.
You can even email us at guardianprojectpod@gmail.com.
Let's go eat some candy. All right, if this is your first Candy episode with us, make sure you go back and check out episodes 72 and also episode 124, which were the previous 2 Halloween episodes. Last year specifically, we tried Mallow Cups, green tea Kit Kats, Boston Baked Beans, a Bounty Bar, Necco Wafers, Nestle Coffee Crisp, a Crunchy Bar, a Clark Bar, Blue Raspberry Sour Punch Straws, and Nickel Nips. And we learned that the green tea Kit Kat was terrible.
We have opinions. We learned we have opinions.
And Coyle continues to dislike coconut, and that's fine.
Still dislike it.
But the blue raspberry sour punch straws were, like, I think by far the best. Those were very good. And Nickel Nips, while being obnoxious to try to eat, they're fun little bits of juice in just wax.
When I was listening to episode 124 to prep for this, we talked about how those blue sour punch straws in their description actually say that you can like drink drinks with it and stuff. And we thought neither of us had done this before. Have you done that since then? Have you had a drink with a blue sour punch straw or anything that isn't supposed to be a straw, but as a straw?
I have not, but okay. I did see the video, and I don't remember what baseball park it was at, but someone used like a coffee stirrer,
okay,
and they shoved it through a hot dog, and then they drank their beer through a hot dog as a straw, and I was personally offended by that. But no, I have not drank any beverages through a non-straw straw.
Okay. Fair enough.
So we've got a lot of new things though that we tried this year. Some of them we had tried before, but I would say most of these to me were new. And we'll start out with our first, which was jujubes. So jujubes were first produced sometime before 1920. The jujube is an edible berry that grows in the tropics, but the name of the berry really has nothing to do with the candy, which is more likely related to one of the basic ingredients of both the jujube and the juju fruit, which is juju gum. So this candy says the original flavors were lilac, violet, rose, spearmint, and lemon, but they since replaced the rose and spearmint flavors with lime and wild cherry, which I appreciate because I don't know if I don't like rose, like even like rose wine or rose water. No, thank you. And I'm not a mint or really like a spearmint person for the most part. I'm good with gum and I'm good with a candy we're going to talk about later today. But for the most part, I don't do like mint lifesavers. Right. I don't like any of those.
Sure.
So these were good. They remind me of dots, just like really small and like almost. It's like you put a dot in a dehydrator. Is what it felt like, because they were like really hard. They were, and like when you chew on them, they pack down your teeth.
Yes.
So. But I would eat them, just probably more sparingly than other candies.
Sure.
But for this candy, I picked something that feels very literal.
Okay.
And I picked Omnath Locus of Rage because he looks like a green jujube that just has arms and legs. But I thought it was fitting that since the name of this candy was based on really like a common ingredient between the fruit and like maybe the candy, I thought this would be interesting to just talk about maybe landfall in general.
Okay.
Because there's lots of different flavors that all fit the same mold. You've got Gruel Landfall, Simic Landfall, 5-color Landfall, but specifically Omnath Locus of Rage because it looks like a little jujube.
Yeah, that's great. You know, even like Omnaths, as they get more and more colors, like the colors start popping up in their fists and stuff. So the 4-color Omnath probably looks like he's holding 4 jujubes.
Once we get the next Omnath that's all 5 colors, I'm just going to name the deck jujubes.
I imagine it's that Omnath is going to to look like some evolved version of Pokemon, though. It'll be a completely different color. It'll be like an all white, golden, glistening.
Oh yeah, it'll be shiny.
A shiny
Omnath. Yeah, the alternate art. I'm sure there will be like a game day promo or something of it. How about you? Okay, what did you pick for Jujubes?
Okay, so I framed Jujubes in my own mind, in my own opinion, that this is an assortment of too hard fruity candy in an undesirable array of flavors. So this is the deck that your friend let you borrow that's combo centric, but you don't know the combo lines and you're sitting with a hand of 5 tutors and no idea what to do with them. Where even casting one to look at the deck list, you don't even know. Like even looking at all the cards in the hand, you don't know what the combos are. And then everyone's mad at you because you took a 20-minute turn to do nothing because you're not sure what's going on, but nobody's enjoying this except the friend who let you borrow the deck. They are the one that's enjoying watching you play it. So we're going to call this Cedrus the Trader King Graveyard Piles because it has to be, that's the one like you have to know exactly what to go find in order to do it. So that's the deck that I chose for that one.
All right.
I also have that deck in case you want to play anytime, Andy.
Okay, I will borrow your for the Jujube experience.
Yes.
I will borrow your Cedrus deck.
Perfect. All right, so the next candy we have on here is called a Big Hunk.
That was my nickname. That's still my nickname.
Still
That's
your
what
nickname?
people call me.
Andy
Big Hunk Flory.
You should change your Twitter tag to Big Hunk.
I will.
All right, so Big Hunk is a chewy, honey-sweetened nougat bar with whole-roasted peanuts. That's the bar we tried. We can also get it with almonds, chocolate-covered. They're made by Annabelle's Candy, and I don't think either of us have had this one before.
No, I had never had this one before. I liked this one.
Yeah.
And if you listen to Second Main, I think it was something that I was not expecting.
Right.
It felt like
Laffy Taffy, right?
it felt like Laffy Taffy. Yeah,
Mhm.
like if you had, oh gosh, what are those ones they're all wrapped in different colors? Fun Taffy, the
Airheads? Sure.
It was like the texture of an Airhead.
Yeah.
But with peanuts in it, which we're fine.
I took 2 bites of it, and the first bite was just the nougat part, and the second bite had peanuts in it. I much enjoyed my first bite a lot more than my second.
I don't disagree with you.
Okay.
I think the first bite was better. That did not have it. And I did try to rip a piece from Mike, and I could not even rip the candy bar in half. I just handed it to him, and I was like, I don't know, figure it out.
Just Stretch Armstronged right in your hands.
Okay, so what'd you do? What'd you do for this?
For this one, I said, so the Big Hunk is a creamy, sweet, Laffy Taffy like texture, not too bad, and then there's just peanuts stuck in there to ruin your experience. So this to me would be a nice deck, not too out of the ordinary, something nice and fun to play with and against, not too innovative, but not too cookie cutter either. Something like a Goshen tie Shrines deck or something. You expect shrines and then stacks, prison pieces, stasis.
That's the little salty bits.
Yeah, it just all just comes out of nowhere. So if you just take those nuts out, the candy becomes a much better candy, in my opinion. So yeah, that's the commander deck. What about you?
Okay, so I went with Wolfgar of Icewind Dale because, well, he's a hunk, big hunk.
Sure. He's Chad.
Yeah, for sure. And so my thought here was that I actually really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And that you want something that's crunchy, which is maybe something that could make players salty. And there's a couple of cards that you could put into Wolfgar to make maybe your opponents a little salty. I didn't think that I liked this commander when it came out, Wolfgar, and I think that might just because I know and I recognize I'm biased against the Adventures in Forgotten Realms, just because it wasn't like my favorite setting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not massively into D&D, so like I felt very out of the loop not knowing what any of these characters were. But I like how it plays, having played against it many times since it came out. And I think Wolfgar is actually a pretty good deck. One that, very much like the candy, I would play again.
And Wolfgar's the double attack triggers.
Yeah, Wolfgar's attack Panharmonicon. Wolfgar is a 4/4. It's in Gruul colors.
Yeah.
It has melee, which is cool. Whenever this creature attacks, it gets +1/+1 for each opponent you attack this combat. But it says if a creature you control attacking would trigger an ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that triggers an additional time.
Right. So I guess to me, the peanuts would be anything that says the keyword annihilator on it.
Yeah.
Those are the peanuts of the big hunk to me in your Wolfgar analogy.
Yeah, sure. Or maybe like a tectonic giant if you had a couple
that
of
hurts
them,
too. Yeah.
Or Karlach, Fury of Avernus. Whenever you attack, you get extra stuff.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. All right, the next candy were satellite wafers.
Yeah.
Also known as flying saucers. The ones this year we tried were made by Garrett's, and they've been produced since the 50s and have, which I thought was very wild, writing up the summary, was that they have a great reputation in the Northeast and where, and I quote, people will do anything to get their hands on them.
Anything?
That's what it said on the website.
Murder?
Killed a guy. That's how I got them this year. Anyway, it says they're candy, they're candy beads in an edible shell. Picture like a flying saucer that you would have seen like in a sci-fi movie. Honestly, that's what these look like. They're edible and they kind of have a texture of styrofoam and literally zero flavor.
Well, like the beads inside have some flavor.
No, they're just sweet. It wasn't even like
a flavor.
Okay. It tastes sweet, but it doesn't. It was not.
There's nothing else to it but sugar.
It was literally just sugar. It was just sugar. So I went with Selvala Explorer Returned as this comparison. So the deck is usually sweet when it gives you card draw, and while it can be built competitively and win on the spot, I never really got behind the commander myself, and ended up really just like spinning my wheels with like no real payoff. So if you just want to do a lot and have like a lot going on, eat a satellite wafer, because there's like, you can shake them. They're loud. They're like, they're large, and also there's nothing to them. Didn't really do much for me in the end. Take it or leave it. But there are a lot of Selvala Explorer Return fans, and apparently everyone in the Northeast loves satellite wafers.
Yeah. I would say that my comparison is somewhat similar.
Okay.
I said so this had a lot of promise from my perspective, this particular candy, and I was kind of let down because it was subpar sugar sprinkles that it took me a 2-step process in order to get there, because I had to get through the styrofoam satellite first. So this perfectly fits my Cody Vociferous Codex deck that I had before, which was a secret Brash Taunter deck, because it was a 2-step process to get a commander out that simply died to a 1-mana exile spell, and then the deck doesn't work anymore. So
it didn't do much for you in the end when Brash Taunter wasn't out. So this candy doesn't really do a whole lot.
It doesn't do. Yeah, no, this one I will definitely leave it at home for sure.
Yeah, we won't purchase it again, and we're not going to do anything for these ever again.
Never. No, not for satellite. No, satellite wafers gone.
It's not the bottom of the list, I will say. The bottom of the list hasn't come up yet.
I know your bottom of the list. This one's not my bottom either. I don't think we had any. Okay, other than the one I know you're talking about, I don't think we had any candies that like disgusted me this year where we did last year. But there were also no candies that like blew me out of the water this year, like there were last year.
There weren't.
So this is a very middling.
It's a middling candy year.
Yes. This next one actually is my favorite on the list. This is a Mr. Bite. Mr. Bite is a milk chocolate wafer bar with coconut cream. But with cocoa cream. There's also a couple other versions, one with coconut cream and one with hazelnut cream. I'll say and these are made by Torin out of New York. I will say this one tasted very, very fudgy, and it was, I really like the wafer cookies part of it. That's like one of my jams. There's like a Reese's Sticks candy out there that I like a lot, which is Reese's candy, but in like that, it
was like the texture of a Nutter Butter.
Yeah.
It was good.
Is it a Nutter? No, not a Nutter Butter.
No. They're
Nutty Bar. Nutty Bar.
Nutty Bar?
Yes, Nutty Bar.
Either way, it's like I always associate these with like when I grew up and I had to go to like catechism. The
wafer cookies.
The wafer cookies.
Yes. So Nutter Butters are peanut butter cookies in the shape of peanuts.
Oh, you're
with
right.
Peanut butter in the middle. Yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking of
Nutty.
I'm thinking of a Mr. Bite because they're the same as
Mr. Bite.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's very chocolatey, very rich, I would say. And I think if we got some of the other flavors, maybe it wouldn't be as rich as this one.
But it was good.
It was very, very good.
First time I ever had this one.
I agreed, and I liked it. So I said this one might have been my favorite of this year. but it has a lot of chocolate and fudge. You really have to be in the mood for this rich flavor. But if this is your style, you're going to love it. This is the background / pick a background mechanic to me. Because I think this has something for everyone. And if they can just, wrap their head around it, it doesn't have that bad of a taste. And there's some people out there that are obsessed with it, that just would really, really want this rich. And some people, they only want just a little taste of it. This want just a little bit. It's a little bit too rich for me. One commander deck or one draft. That's all I need. So this reminded me a lot of the Coffee Crisp that we had last year, which was my favorite candy.
Yeah, that was really good.
So in comparison, I would say Coffee Crisp is partner and Mr. Bite is pick a background.
Oh, okay. Which background? This one is give your commander +10/+10. It's the
That's a really
is it Raised
good,
by Giants.
Raised by Giants makes your commander base power 10/10. But yes, that's a good one. That's a very good one.
That's a good one. I really like this one too. I said that this would be a commander that I've never had a bad experience playing against, and one that I actually quite like playing against, which is Cabal Council of Allocation. It's a white-black deck. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, they lose 2 life and you gain 2 life. I really appreciate when an opponent's playing that deck because it's helping me get my opponents down. I don't mind losing a little bit of life, but if I have an opponent that's playing a Spellslinger deck or something and they decide to lose, 12, 18, 20, 24, whatever, whatever is
all their life.
Exactly. It just made it that much easier for me to get there.
Okay.
So I've enjoyed playing against that deck. 10 out of 10. I would eat this candy again. I don't know if I've ever had a bad experience playing against Cabal, to be honest.
Crazy.
I have gotten to the point though where it's like I can no longer cast a spell because I will just die. But that's okay. We got to figure out a new solution.
Well, I was gonna isn't there like a Borborygmos that does something similar too, or a Gruul?
That's Ruarkthar. And that's 6 damage for non-creatures, I think.
So 6 damage is too much, but 2 drain is okay.
Yeah.
From Cabal. I
don't usually have a problem playing against Ruarkthar either. The issue is Ruarkthar is a 6/6 that has a lot going on. True. So it's also terrifying where Cabal is just a 2/3 without death touch.
That's very, very fair.
So good experience overall. Next, our candy that we had before might be my top for this year.
Sure.
And these are bottle caps, which are sweet tablet candies made to look like metal soda bottle caps in grape, cola, orange, root beer, and cherry flavors. It was first introduced by Breaker Confections in 1972, and they're currently sold by the Ferrera Candy Company. So in our research, though, we did find that bottle caps used to have a lemon lime flavor instead of cherry. And I guess there was also a time when the Willy Wonka company used to sell these, but they called them fizzy bottle caps. Ooh. And they were almost the same ingredients, but they had something that made them fizz when you ate them. Like yeah, I'm pretty sure that I have had them at some point and they were very good. But these are really good. It doesn't have a bad flavor. Grape, cola, orange, root beer, and cherry. I think I definitely got, I think there were like 5 root beer in a row when we opened it, and I ate a couple of those root beer.
I remember when I was a kid and stuff, we'd eat them out of like individual packs. That's how you would get them in Halloween, or maybe in a box or something. Never ate them out of a roll. In a roll, apparently, they're in like 5 root beer, 5 cherry, 5 orange, 5 cola.
Yeah.
Would you prefer cherry or lemon lime if you got to pick which one was in your pack?
I like cherry flavor. I do like artificial cherry, and I am not opposed to the kind of medicine-y cherry flavor, which I know a lot of people are really turned off by. Yeah. I don't mind that. Okay. Like the Sucrets lozenges, those I would eat those like candy. Okay. So I usually go for fake cherry flavor.
Okay.
Would you rather do
lemon lime all day?
Are you?
Yeah. Okay. Orange, lemon, and lime. I'm a citrus. Gotta love my citrus.
Yeah. Well, this one I went with a deck that I honestly just enjoy playing against because none of the bottle caps are bad and none of the creatures are really bad in decks like this, which is like a Legendary Matters deck. And I have been playing recently against quite a few Joffrey Ghostforge decks, which is like Boros legendaries. Sure. We've played against our Parker, our patron, has used to have an Aurelia. Was it Aurelia? It was an Aurelia deck. Yep. Just fun Boros legendary creatures. You really can't go bad, and Joffrey, gets to make you more of those when they die. Because whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you exile it and you get a copy of it, except it's a spirit. And then when that leaves, you return the exile card you get.
That's
fun
nice.
stuff.
And it's on flavor because you'll eventually run out of bottle caps, and in Boros you'll eventually run out of cards and you won't have anything left to play.
And I also had that written down. You just said it before I could.
Well, I took this slightly different, but I think also kind of on the same cue as you. It's a classic candy that I always forgot about, but it can always go right back to a variety of flavors, and always surprises me that it's still around. So this deck or deck style that has been around forever and has a variety of ways to play, and when you see it, you're always pleasantly surprised. I picked a wizard tribal deck as this. So there's always brand new commanders.
That.
Yeah, there's always brand new commanders that come out for wizard tribal. There's always brand new things you can do, whether it's tapping your commander down to make your spells cost less, or you care about wizard ETBs, maybe it's care about your graveyard or something. So I went back to my first wizard commander deck that I saw out in the wild, which was a pre-con, but it was Anala Wizards for Grixis.
Very good one.
That one's got infinite combos for infinite turns with prophetic wave speaker, I think is that merfolk's name.
I don't think
it's
it is
prophetic though. I'm almost positive.
Well, I'll look it up as you continue, but I think that's way off.
So infinite turn combos, token generation. There's cares about graveyard, obviously ETBs with Anala being able to create temporary tokens to double your ETBs, double your death triggers. But wizards to me equals bottle caps, and even representing in up to all 5 colors as well.
Yeah, prophetic flame speaker is just a red.
Well, not flame, just it's prophetic. I said wave.
Yeah, but when you look up prophetic, there's
only one prophetic.
No, there's a couple, but none of them are wizards in blue, unless I'm crazy right now. It's Wanderwine Prophets.
Wanderwine Prophets.
That's Wanderwine Prophets. Prof. Yeah. All right, I can see it. I can.
And it's a merfolk, and the prof loves merfolk. So
see it. That's
and now I'll never forget ever again until next week.
Until next week.
All right. So I think both of our favorite candy is coming up here next. One that definitely didn't catch us off guard whatsoever.
This one's not my least favorite. It's
not your least?
This is not. This one's second.
I'm surprised then. So these ones had a giant radioactive symbol on the side of them. And when you're in the middle of a candy shop, to me, that says they're going to be super sour. And I thought that's what it was going to be. Didn't read it. But these are radioactive, spicy filled gummy mangoes. These are mango gummies that have a spicy filling. It's exactly as it sounds. They are meant to look and taste like dried chili mangoes. So we thought these were really unique, something that's actually distributed by the candy shop that we bought them in. But
apparently you can just buy them everywhere.
Yeah,
I've never seen these before.
Not once
apparently
in my
they're
life.
at Walmart. Apparently they're at Target.
Okay.
Had no idea. So we were like, wow, we're getting really unique. And no.
So
right, what was your take on these?
Okay, so I thought these were going to be sour based on the radioactive symbol on the bag and the fact that we were in a candy store, but this was hot. It was unpleasant to me. But not as unpleasant as they are to others. I don't think I was affected as much as, or I hated it as much as you.
I actually spit this one out as we were eating it. It was very spicy. I also don't do spicy.
Sure.
The mango part though, the outside before you got to the
so good.
The mango was very good. Mm-hmm. I also just really liked mango.
Right.
I did read this, and I did read mango spicy filled, and I was like, it can't be that spicy, right? But I will say, I gave these to my husband, and the bag was in fact finished.
Oh, awesome.
So he enjoyed those.
Good.
Not a spicy, some spicy, sweet, sweet and salty. What?
Sure.
Like that. I don't think I want sweet and spicy.
No.
Again.
No, I mean, I would have like maybe one piece in the future, but I definitely wouldn't sit down and eat a bag. But I said it was like a deck that I liked that had more spice than I would typically put in it. So it's a commander that's not something you expected based on the face value, but had you read the commander, you'd know exactly what this was going to be. And you'd already said, okay, during the Rule Zero conversation. So now you have to sit and live through this game. So I said, this is my Shirei deck but with the discard spice and stuff that's in it. Like this is the really mean version of She-Ray, the She-Mean Ray. So people sit down and go, oh yeah, She-Ray deck. It's just a bunch of 1-power creatures. And then you start playing things like Black Rat and Corrupt Court Official that are making all of your opponents discard all the cards in their hand. And that's not what you're expecting when up against a She-Ray deck, but also that's what She-Ray decks do sometimes. So that's the Atomic Mango for me. What about you?
Yeah, so this one at first you think it was going to be really great, and then you try it and it's sweet, and then it gets like kind of bitter super fast, and then like a little spicy, and it kind of reminds me a lot of Orvar, the all form, where you're like, this is really cool. Like the deck could be sweet, as in literally that's a sweet play, not as in sweet as in nice, or kind. I had this deck. I played it one time for our show, and I think I played it 2 times off of stream, and it just ended up being really powerful. It had maybe too much going on, and I was personally left with a really bad taste in my mouth. And if you do go back and watch that stream, I actually don't overload a Cyclonic Rift. I actually feel bad for making the table watch me make, and I don't remember the exact number, but I made so many
Smothering Tides.
And I had more mana than you could even think of. I think I had like 18 Smothering Tides, and at that point you can't. I mean, your opponents can't possibly pay.
No, you get 18 treasures.
Yeah, exactly. And I just felt really bad. So it made me feel physically bad on stream, and the candy made me feel physically bad while eating it. So that is why Orvar the All Form is a radioactive, spicy filled gummy mango.
Awesome.
All right. So the next 2 here, we want to thank patron William Tonias for sending us some candies to try out.
Yes,
and the first one here is the Nut Roll, which is a fluffy nougat coated in caramel and then rolled in salted peanuts made by Pearson's. This one reminded me, like visually, it looks like a Payday, kind of.
Yeah.
And texture wise, it's not too far off from a Payday.
That's pretty much Payday.
We tried a Payday before, and it was fine. It was fine. And I don't think the Nut Roll was bad. I just don't know if it's something that I would like it wouldn't be a go-to.
Sure.
Agreed. But if someone gave it to me, I would definitely eat it. It would be something that I wouldn't say no to. And I am comparing this to Ramos Dragon Engine. It's a very good commander overall. Can be a bit salty. You know, it can win, out of nowhere off of like a timely conflux or something. And
it could be very charming.
It could be, very charming. It could be. But it's one of those, I would eat this if it was given to me, but not my favorite. And I don't know if it's a deck that I would build or pick myself. I much rather like the next candy that we were sent to try over this one. And I think I just don't like candy that has that much like peanut in it.
Yeah.
And that's the sole reason. The nougat is good. It's like the middle of like a Milky Way. For sure. Maybe not even I like nougat, I guess.
Nougat's great.
And caramel?
Yeah. It's a good combination.
The peanuts
the peanuts are the part that's the nut. If it was just a roll, then this would be better.
Just a roll, not nut roll. I would like one roll. I'm sure you could pick every peanut off of it. They were. It wasn't like they were stuck in like a Payday. You couldn't possibly remove the peanuts. This one you could scrape.
Yeah, this one seemed like toppings, like peanut toppings they would put on top of your ice cream, or you could probably or on top of a cake or something. You could like scrape it off if you really wanted to.
Yeah. What were your thoughts? Because it seems like you were really not into this one.
So I said this is William's way of getting us to eat another Payday this year. That's my only notes about the candy. So this is the commander playstyle. You told your play group that you didn't mind. It wasn't that bad. And they took that statement as, okay, build more of that and push that envelope more. But I didn't really want more of that. I was just being kind and saying that it was okay. And now it's just in a different wrapper every time it's given to me. So these are Voltron decks to me. It's definitely an appeal to them. Some people really love them. There's always a brand new commander, always a brand new wrapper on that particular candy. But they're essentially always the same thing. So once you were SRAM and now you are Danitha. And That's pretty much it. Same song and dance. Still don't like it.
Yeah, I feel like Coyle wrote some of these notes after I played my Voltron Elf deck the other day against him.
No,
So.
I didn't even die to Voltron. None of us died to Voltron. Spoiler.
That's funny. All right, tell us about the next one. This is one that I think we both like.
Yeah, we both
very
like
good.
this one. These are
very good.
These are mint patties. These are also from William. They're basically York peppermint patties. Or junior mints if you only have that frame of reference. Is a really, really good candy. Classic, refreshing mint, sweet. It's cool mint, not spearmint. And it brings me back to my early childhood, actually. My grandfather used to give me York mint patties and junior mints and stuff.
These are the candy you eat them, and then when you drink water, your water tastes cold.
Oh yeah,
I do like that.
Yeah. So it brought me back to my childhood where we used to eat them all the time, but it always tastes the same. It's really hard to get this recipe wrong. It's dark chocolate, which is top tier. Oh, it has to be. But if you have an off-brand York mint patty, it's probably still going to taste really good. So It's okay. So to me, this is a Grixis Spellslingers deck. The deck that I was always trying to change and tune in my early Commander days, where it was Nekusar at one point, and then Kess, and then Nicol Bolas. And, I'd always love to just throw another Grixis Spellslingers deck together. It might not be my favorite thing in the world, but it just brings me back to the beginning and how I first played Commander. So that's the York Mint Patties brings me back to my beginning. So that's what these Mint Patties brought to me. What about you?
So this one, I went a little literal again.
Sure.
And I said, while it's ice cold, you can also be a little dark in Sultai colors.
Okay.
And why not play a snow commander like Jorn?
Sure.
For a mint patty. So Jorn, God of Winter, is whenever it attacks, untap each snow permanent you control. Some people might actually play Cauldron the Rhyme Staff. I don't think I've ever seen someone play that, but it has it's a legendary snow artifact. It's the flip side of Jorn. Says you may play target snow permanent from your graveyard this turn. If you do it enters tapped, you can just tap it to do that, which is kind of cool. So being in snow covered works, but also it can be a little dark with that dark chocolate if you wanted to go with a little bit of a stronger.
I like that comparison.
Yeah. So mint patties. Thank you so much, William, for sending those in.
Yeah, thank you.
We only have two more here. The next one is one that I liked actually quite a bit. So this is Hop Cheese Coffee Candy. So if you this is directly from their website. It says, if you love coffee, get ready to enjoy your favorite drink in a whole new way. Rademaker Coffee Candies, also known as Hop Cheese, have a rich and flavorful taste of coffee that you will absolutely love. It's the perfect thing to give you that satisfying coffee flavor without having to drink a whole cup. These treats are made by one of the oldest candy companies in Holland, and Rademaker has been producing these for decades, making them one of the most recognizable candy companies in the country. However, the popularity of this candy spread beyond Holland and is really now a favorite all over the world. I guess it comes from Dutch ancestry. So I will say they're hard candies, so they're small hard candies. They're about the size of a gusher. If you actually picture the exact shape, and I don't know the shape of it, but it's like the shape of a gusher.
Like a hexagon, like a stop sign, like an octagon, a stop
like
sign.
Stuffed.
Yeah.
Octagon.
Put together.
Put together, two ends.
Gummy
of it.
ravioli.
A gummy.
If you don't know what a gusher looks like, it looks like gummy ravioli.
And if you don't know what that looks like, then Google it. Because it seems pretty clear what these things look like based on what we just described. So I would say it's a candy I couldn't eat a ton of, though. It was very rich. I would know because the bag has been in our house since we ate them last week, and they're almost gone now. But I'm going to go with a commander that I think is a fantastic commander, one that I don't have, one that I personally don't mind playing against either.
Sure.
And that's Sir Conrad the Grim. It's just really good. Yeah. It can be built on a budget, and these are not expensive candies. Just kind of fantastic. Doesn't really take a whole lot to make Conrad good. It's just play a black deck with cards that you like, and your opponents are always going to be putting things into their graveyard. So Conrad's just going to always be doing the thing.
Yeah.
And I don't really have many notes.
No, I like that.
I have no notes.
I like that a lot. And I don't disagree. I mean, I thought it was a very good one. And I think you can even take that analogy a little bit further. And the game might take a little bit longer to kill your opponents with the Sir Conrad damage. This is a hard candy. You don't consume it very quickly.
Yeah.
Compared to all these other candies. This is the only hard candy on our list. So it is the only one that we really didn't finish. Like we just took a little. We
only talked about each one for a short amount of time, but we did not finish this one.
No. So I said these are tasty and they last a while, and you can always spit it out if you ever get sick of it. And I guess I took a page out of your book on this one because I also went literal on these ones. So these candies were good, but I didn't get to enjoy the entire thing since we were trying to eat 10 candies at once, and this was a hard candy, so I'm going to go literal on it. This is my old Yarick ETB deck because it's energy themed. Because it's coffee. It's going to do coffee. So Yarick gave you energy, and the deck had so many game actions that it lasted a while, probably too long. But for me, it was enjoyable all the way until the very last second of that deck every time that it played. So yeah, high energy for me, and everyone else can wonder why are you so wired?
Yeah, I think this was my second, like my second top one. So if you haven't had bottle caps, like get those. Those are very good. But also, if you do like coffee, these taste just like coffee. They're sweet though. So it's not, if you like black coffee that doesn't have any sweetener, like this is definitely a sweet coffee flavor.
You know what? If you're trying to transition to black coffee, you should drink black coffee while eating one of these candies.
Just dissolve a bunch of these into your black coffee, and that will be your creamer because it's sweet and it's delicious.
You could just use a spoonful of sugar and skip the middleman, I suppose. But
I guess. But then you don't have any reason to buy the candy we're talking about.
That's true. Buy the candy. All right, so we are down to our very last candy for this year, and this is one that I picked out personally, and I thought I had high hopes for it. It didn't.
We had high hopes, and they were let down. This is by far the worst.
You think this is the worst?
It's not even close.
Oh my gosh, I'm surprised at that. Although I wasn't happy with this. These are the Stuffed Puffs Big Bites filled marshmallows.
First off, your name's too long.
Stuffed Puffs.
Stuffed Puffs Big Filled Bites. Bites big. Too much.
It reminds me, I don't know if you ever watched Homestar Runner back in the day. If you are out there and you watch Homestar Runner and you remember Homestar Runner tries to make a marshmallow commercial, you'll understand why I'm laughing internally at this joke right now. But anyway, these are milk chocolate stuffed marshmallows rolled in a light dusting of graham crackers. So these come in different flavors. We picked the s'mores flavor for this one. So chocolate filled, graham cracker covered, and I will say that these were very underwhelming.
Saying that it's graham cracker covered is very.
It's a dust.
It was like sawdust covered,
yeah, absolutely
dry marshmallows with a tiny amount of a bad textured milk chocolate in the middle.
Oh yeah.
It was, I think my bite had chocolate. Mike had taken a bite. He goes, there's no chocolate. And then we looked at it and he was like, because it was only on the other side of the marshmallow, but you could feel it when you held the marshmallow, like you knew where the chocolate was.
Maybe these had to be warmed up. Maybe they were old.
I don't know, but marshmallow is not my favorite flavor to begin with. Like I'm not like, if I'm going to have a marshmallow, it's going to be completely burned over a bonfire. I like burning them and then peeling off that like really crispy,
the black
part.
Carbon.
Yeah. And then eating that and then burning the next bit and then pulling that off and then burning the last little bit. That's
carbon.
I love it. It's delicious. And that's how I'm going to eat my marshmallow. I don't even do like marshmallow, like Starbucks sometimes has like marshmallow stuff that they put into their drinks, like, and that's fine, but it's only a little bit. Like I can. So
you never ate like marshmallow fluff and peanut butter sandwiches?
So I have, and I do like fluffernutter sandwiches because it makes peanut butter sweet. Because peanut butter is not really sweet, so I do enjoy that.
You seriously have to try reduced fat Jif peanut butter because they replace the fat with sugar. It's sweet peanut butter.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, you'll like it.
So this was my least favorite of all the candies, and really, without disparaging like some Commander, I'm going to equate this to like something that's a little dry and maybe uninteresting to me.
Sure. And
something that I picked based on the filling that just wasn't great, meaning that others kind of do it better. So the lesser of two evils here. I really don't enjoy Enchantress decks.
Yeah.
I don't like them at all. It's just too much for you to manage, and it feels like, all right, I played this out. I need it to live so I can play the next thing. And then that needs to live so I can play the next thing. And I picked Kestia the Cultivator here, which was the face commander from Commander 18, which I think was outdone by Tuvasa, which was the secondary commander in that deck. Kestia is a 4/4 with Bestow, and it says enchant creature. So you can bestow it onto something to give the creature +4/+4, and then whenever an enchanted creature or an enchantment creature you control attacks, you draw a card. It's really just not something that I'm into, and I would play a different deck over it, over Kestia, because others, I think, just kind of do it better. Because Kestia is a little dry to me. Yeah. And not really what I want to do. I'm not into Kestia's marshmallow or chocolate or sawdust graham cracker.
Interestingly enough, I made a similar comparison in episode 124 to the Bounty Bar to an Enchantress style deck because of the coconut and squishiness. So your dry is my squishy.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. Okay, so yeah, like I said, these were underwhelming. I had really high hopes. So this is the commander that you had a super hype commander idea for at 2 a.m. while you were still awake in bed. And the next day you just like ran to go brew it, and you refined it over the course of like 2 weeks, and you started goldfishing it and everything looks fine, and you build it in paper and it just flops. It's just terrible.
Yeah, been there.
It doesn't work anymore. It technically does what you built it to do, but it does it so poorly that it's not even fun playing with. And I hope none of y'all have had this experience. Obviously, Andy, I'm sorry that you and I both have had this experience.
Yeah, listen, we've done it, so you don't have to.
I did it very recently. My 5-color backgrounds deck was something I had really high hopes for. There was a secondary theme of flash creatures that I wanted to do it with. And after I got it built, it was bad. It was really bad.
Which commander was it?
We used was it Sliver Hivlord? The Indestructible Sliver as the commander, because then it's harder to remove and you get your background. That synergy.
And this was with all the backgrounds?
This was with not every single one, but a lot of them. Probably 15 backgrounds or something like that.
That's a lot, yeah.
And then flash creatures, and the deck was really, really bad, and I've already taken it apart, and it was a good reason to buy some Triomes, so now I have some Triomes to stick in some other decks.
It must have been so bad. I didn't know it existed, and I personally never even played against it. I usually get at least one game with each year new decks. That one was so bad, like these marshmallows.
So quickly.
So tops and bottoms, I guess, this week. So I'm doing bottle caps and the coffee candies. Which one was your top?
My top was definitely the Mr. Bite. I think hands down. I don't think anything came close.
I like the big hunk too. I thought that was good.
It had peanuts. Peanuts are a killer.
See, I'm in it, but I think the gummy mangoes and these marshmallows were by far the worst.
The marshmallows were the biggest disappointment. The biggest surprise was the mango radioactive candies. I didn't hate them as much as I thought. And there was nothing on here that I was disgusted with, and I'm happy with it. There's no coconut this year. I'm happy we did a no coconut thing, even though we showed up at the candy store literally at the exact same time, and you were going to get coconut if I wasn't there.
Yeah, I was. I texted Mike and said, I'm picking up candy. I'll make sure I get lots of coconut. I walked into the store and Mike was in the candy store. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm not buying all the coconut because you're here and you won't let me. Well, that's going to be it for this week. Our 3rd annual Halloween candy episode. This was fun.
Very much so.
I very much look forward to this episode every year. Our candy store also has like a foreign candies, like just not they're non-traditional candies or made overseas. Yeah. So maybe we'll do one of those next year, because I've never tried anything that was most of it I also couldn't read. I mean, there was a lot of things that were just not written in English.
It'd be an extra level of fun when we're using Google Translate to figure out what it is.
What it actually is that we're trying. So thank you to everybody for listening this week, and to William once again for sending in those candies to us. But if you want to chat with us some more, you can find me on Twitter at Andy Flory,
and you can find me on Twitter at Wormcoil Engine. We want to wish everyone a safe and happy Halloween. Please be safe if you are gonna drink. Make sure you don't drive, and be responsible and be safe and all that kind of stuff. And we'll catch y'all next week.